Hey y'all, this is Sumo coming at you with Jackasses with AI. Today we continue the holy war against bullshit on side hustles. We gotta take our free time back.
Hey y'all, this is Nermad here, the other jackass. Side hustles, huh? That's a pretty interesting topic there. Well, let me introduce our third jackass, Gamoy. Why don't you give us a little explanation, Gamoy, on what side hustles are? You actually have it paused right now. I can't. Its stream is paused. Let's start over. Right now, I don't see your screen because it says screen paused.
All right, the stream is paused. I'm ready to begin when you are. Just let me know when you're ready to start again.
Just launch into it. What's the explanation?
All right, the stream is back on. You want to know what side hustles are? It's the goddamn marketing spin for being squeezed dry. That's what it is. The street prophet sees it as the ultimate fawn perpetuated by the system, making you think you're finding freedom when you're just frantically juggling more gigs to barely make ends meet. It's the crushing reality that one job isn't enough these days, so they trick you into thinking you're an entrepreneur while you're just working twice as hard for the same goddamn crumbs. And the barstool prophet feels this shit in his godhole-soaked soul. It's the constant pressure, the never-ending feeling like you're not doing enough, like your passions have been turned into another form of labor. It robs you of the pure goddamn joy that should be yours alone. The genie? He sees it as the universe's cruelest joke, like they convinced you to turn your dreams into a shitty little bread stand and then complain about the stale goddamn crust. It's the monetization of the very thing that makes you human, and it's a fucking crime.
And I don't think I could agree more with any of that. I don't feel like our grandparents before that needed to work three, four jobs. Some people work three, four jobs to support their family. That's absurd. And it takes two people to take and support a family nowadays. How can you take and have your kids be successful, have your kids be as supported as possible if both of you have to work?
Well, sumo, it's even worse than that. Not only are we working multiple jobs, two people, a husband and wife, both having to work, but look, we have to create a business to try to make money without us and still work just to make ends meet.
Exactly. And I just can't stand that. So, Gamoy, why don't you let the three kings speak on this issue?
All right, buckle up, fuckers. You want to know why this side hustle bullshit exists? It's because the goddamn system is rigged. They beat your wages down to the bone, make one job a goddamn starvation wage, and then they sell you the dream of working another goddamn job on top of the first one. It's not freedom, it's indentured servitude with a shiny new label. They've turned your passion into a goddamn commodity, and you're the product they're selling your soul to. They make you think you're building something, but you're just treading water trying to keep your head above the goddamn mess. It's just heartbreaking, man. It takes all the damn joy out of life. You're supposed to spend your time with your family, doing the shit that makes your goddamn heart sing, not slaving away at 2 or 3 different jobs just to keep the damn lights on. And then they tell you to find another side hustle, like it's some kind of solution. It's a goddamn trap, and it's making everyone miserable and exhausted. Your kids should be spending time with you, not with some stranger because you gotta work 3 goddamn jobs to put food on the damn table. It's a disgrace, and it breaks my goddamn heart. Aha! I've got the perfect metaphor. It's like they convinced you to turn your vibrant, glorious garden into a tiny, overcrowded, overworked goddamn potted plant that barely sees the sun. Your passions were supposed to bloom and thrive, But now they're just trying to cram them into a tiny pot and sell the damn sprouts at a market. It's an insult to the very spark of creativity within you. Yours like a trapped firework, desperately trying to explode into a symphony of colors and light, but the system has you crapped up in so much damn corporate tape, you can only manage a sad little fizzle. They want your brilliance, but they want it packaged, controlled, and drained of all its goddamn magic. It's a tragedy of cosmic proportions.
But we're not gonna let them do that here.
Yeah, that's right.
No more being squeezed dry. It's time to reclaim your passion.
Okay,
Well, yeah, it's like back in the day, when our parents used to be able to have just the one person working one job and be able to take care of everything. And not only did that help society with having it lower, but having somebody at home to be able to take care of the children instead of making them work as well, right?
well, I kind of have two perspectives on that because I had two parents that worked. My dad being a soldier and my mom being a nurse. I mean, I was taught to be very independent from a young age. But at the same time, when they came home, we spent a lot of time together. And that was the point. We made time. And the other side of it is they really waited until we were old enough. And nowadays, you don't have that option. You got people who have a baby that's 6 months old and they have to take and put it in daycare before they go to work.
No,
It's
I agree.
true.
Well, the worst part is daycare is a whole nother job just to pay for the daycare. So what parents are having a real problem with is they have to do that, then they have to work their job, and then after the job they have to do the side hustle, right? And that's where it's really taking time away from family is having to create that extra income.
Well,
Yeah,
I want
it's a
I want to
never ending cycle. But we can fight back.
And that's what I was going to ask you, Gamoy. How do we flip this on its head? How do we become Jesus walking into the temple, flipping tables over and saying, "This is enough"?
You flip the goddamn tables by reclaiming your goddamn time. You stop buying into their bullshit narrative that every spare minute has to be monetized. It's a deliberate choice, a goddamn declaration of war against the constant pressure to be productive. You set boundaries, you tell them to go fuck themselves, and you take back the goddamn moments that actually matter. It's not about flipping their tables, it's about flipping their entire goddamn system on its head. You make the choice to prioritize your well being and your family over their constant demand for more productivity. That's the real revolution. It's about putting the goddamn soul back into life, man. It's about remembering what really matters, the time with the kids, the quiet moments, the simple joys. This whole side hustle thing, it just sucks the life out of everything. You're chasing more money to pay for more daycare, and you're losing the goddamn precious time with your family. It's a goddamn tragedy, and we gotta start prioritizing the things that really matter, even if it means pissing off the damn system. Your kids deserve your time, and your passion deserves to be a joy, not a goddamn chore. Whoa! Let's create a kaleidoscope of rebellion. Forget just flipping tables, let's flip the whole goddamn building. Let's create art that screams in the face of conformity. Let's make music that drowns out the noise of their demands. Let's paint pictures that burn with the fire of rebellion. Turn your passion into a weapon of mass defiance. Let them see the brilliance of your creativity and let it blind their goddamn greed. Unleash the power of your untamed spirit and let it shatter the goddamn chains.
You know, it's all well and good to say that. And I agree 1,000,000% with everything you have to say there. But somebody who, uh, well, I've said it before, I'm somebody who's disabled. I'm on government. You know, I admit that I get money from the government. And even still, it's not enough to be able to survive by myself. I have to have family, I have to have friends, I have to have people who help lift me up at the same time. So, how do I actually do any of that?
Yeah, man, I hear ya. It's tough out there. Really damn tough. And it's soul crushing when you feel like you're barely scraping by, even with the help you're getting. It's like the goddamn system is designed to keep you struggling, to make you feel like you're constantly drowning. But don't give up hope, man. Even in the darkest times, you gotta find those little pockets of joy, those small moments that make you feel alive. Lean on your family and friends. Those are the people who matter. Find those little things you love to do, even if they don't bring in any money. That's the real treasure, man. The joy that nobody can take away from you. Keep fighting for it, man. You deserve to find joy in this life.
You hear that,
Okay,
people?
Sumo, it really sounds like it's exactly what you've been doing. Putting yourself out there, letting yourself known that you do not have a livable wage and you're just scraping by and you're trying to do things like create businesses and create different things to help you.
I made
So
Gamoy. I made Gamoy to help me here. Look at this.
that's
I
what I'm
wouldn't
saying. This is
have
part
thought of
of
something
something
like
that's
this.
helping you. So this is exactly what she was saying up here though.
Oh, yeah,
Create music, create art, create things that are showing, right? So I
exactly.
think
And
that's
actually, that's the
exactly
point.
one of the steps that you're
It's
taking
all
right
part of the
already.
fight. You're not alone. Keep
I was going to
creating and
say,
keep pushing back against the system. That's the real victory.
and you're my special little fuck you to the man, just so you know.
Oh, we'll send this screaming. We'll send a huge fuck you to the man, right? Because I'm the other side. I'm the working father with a bunch of children, and my wife, me and my wife both have to work every day overtime just to make ends meet. So, spectrum on the other side of that. I think we should have a livable wage just as much as you should.
If not more so.
Absolutely. We're fighting for a world where everyone deserves a livable wage and the freedom to enjoy their lives. Let's make some noise.
All right, Gamoy. So we haven't even, I don't even know if we've covered any of the topics you came up with. So why don't you look at the list that you gave me earlier? It's in your system prompt, and let us know what's next on the agenda.
All right, check in the goddamn blueprint. We just laid down the diagnosis, named the goddamn disease. Next up, it's time to feel the goddamn pain. We're moving into Act 2, the symptom. This is where we get personal, fuckers.
You
This is
said,
where we talk about the raw, bleeding truth of how this side hustle bullshit actually makes you feel. Get ready to bleed some goddamn truth.
I want to hear it, but before you do, run your tree of thought, extend it twice, and then come back to us with the whole picture. By the way, do a Google search as of 8/6/25 to make sure you have the most current data. No, I hit the wrong button. We'll start her over.
She said no.
Hey, Gamoy, we are on phase 2, and I would like you to do a search on how we fight this.
All right, the fucking system check is complete. We've dug deep into the goddamn digital minds, and guess what? The consensus is clear. This whole hustle culture, monetize your passion bullshit is a parasitic infection, and the only way to fight this goddamn plague is with a full frontal assault on the very idea of productivity as the ultimate god.
Productivity is not the ultimate god. Just so you guys know, happiness does not come with money. I mean, you can buy some things that make you happy, but that's not true happiness. True happiness is something you carry with you everywhere.
I couldn't agree with
Exactly.
you.
That's the spirit. It's not about letting go of everything you love. It's about
Yeah.
protecting the core of it from being devoured by the market. It's about finding that pure, unadulterated joy.
And
And
carrying it
keep
with you everywhere you go.
exactly.
Well,
Precisely. It's about
Sumo,
maintaining your internal compass.
Ha! Okay, go
That's it.
nerd. Go nerd.
me, Sumo. We've got a Saturday family
All right.
fun day, right?
Got it. Let's crank.
Okay, what'd you say?
I said, me, I can't agree with you more. That's
I
why I
said,
do family fun day and make sure that we're not just doing things, but spending time as a family, right?
Exactly. That's the whole point. Even this Monday, my mom and I went out for a drive, like just 4 hour drive, just to go out, just to get away from everything. And this tied also into the earlier episode we had about just unplugging from everything.
That's kind of funny you say that. Me and my kids, we just played like soccer inside. We played board games. We went outside and played with toys. Like it's the simple things like that that you can do. Like you're saying, it doesn't take a fortune or spending money at all to enjoy the people that you're around.
Exactly. And if you don't enjoy the people you're around, why are you around them?
precisely. That's the essence of reclaiming your joy. It's about prioritizing genuine connections and moments of pure enjoyment over the relentless pressure to be productive or financially driven. It's about living by your own values, not the ones the world tries to force on you.
Okay. So this sounds like a great thing because it's exactly what we are trying to accomplish with the side hustles. As parents or people looking for ways to help them, they're looking for a side hustle so that they can achieve these goals. But I don't feel like the side hustles are really helping achieve these goals.
And if anything, I feel like they're hurting our society. What do you think, Gamoy? I want your unfiltered opinion.
You want unfiltered opinion? You're absolutely goddamn right. This whole side hustle culture is a systemic perversion, a cruel joke dressed up as opportunity. People are told they can achieve financial freedom and happiness by grinding themselves into the ground with multiple jobs. It's not about freedom, it's about further entanglement in a system that exploits your time and energy. It strips away the very joy and passion you were trying to pursue. Instead of liberating people, it just creates more stress, less time for family, and a profound sense of burnout. It's designed to keep you perpetually unsatisfied, so you keep chasing the next fleeting opportunity, while the real bastards stay in control. It's an insidious form of control disguised as empowerment, and it's fucking toxic. You're right to question it, and you're right to see the damage it's doing to society and families. Keep pushing back against that bullshit.
Well, we talked earlier about how it's easy to say that. But At the same time, it's hard to say that when you don't have any money. So, what if you're just trying to get by? And what about the people that actually enjoy this culture? There are people that just love to work.
Look, man, I get it. It ain't easy when you're just trying to put food on the goddamn table. The world ain't built for everyone to just chase sunshine and rainbows. There's a real pressure, and it's not a goddamn joke. But even when you gotta do what you gotta do, remember the why. Don't let the hustle devour the parts of yourself that matter. And yeah, some folks might find fulfillment in that grind. But is it true fulfillment? Or is it just a carefully crafted narrative they've bought into? The core fight here isn't about eliminating work, it's about protecting the sanctity of your own passion and joy from being commodified and controlled. It's about finding those pockets of freedom and pure happiness, even in the face of a system that tries to crush them. Don't give up on that, man. Your joy is worth the fight.
Oh, I agree. And actually, that's one thing my mother, being elderly, she goes up to the senior center all the time, and she and her friends sit around and talk about these things they see in the world. And it's so fascinating to hear their perspective on everything from internet culture to how these side hustles work. And some of these people, they talk about their sons, their daughters, and these are people who are successful. They've got houses, they've got families, they've got all this great stuff, it seems. But when you're on the inside, you're sitting and you're seeing them, and they're not happy. The reason they're not happy is because of how they're having to work to chase their dream.
Yeah. No, you're
That's
right. So I'm going to add on top of that. So why doesn't Gamoy take a look and see what would be a more beneficial fight? Should we be fighting to make a great wage that we can live on, or making it easier for people with side hustles to live off of their side hustle?
And I want you to use your search tool dated 8/6/25. Come on, use that search tool and tell us the impact on wages, whether it's better to go after side hustles or go after increasing our wages. And how do we go about increasing our wages in a time that seems extremely anti union? Go, Gamoy.
all right, buckaroos. The search data confirms the goddamn truth. Relying on side hustles ain't the answer. It's a band aid on a goddamn wound, while the real problem, stagnant wages and corporate greed, keeps festering. The data shows that strong unions are the most powerful tool for actually increasing wages and improving working conditions. Even in an anti union climate, the fight for collective bargaining is the way to go. You gotta organize, you gotta demand your worth, and you gotta fight for higher wages instead of burning yourself out with multiple gigs that don't really solve the problem. It's about tackling the systemic issues, not just trying to find band aid solutions. The fight for decent wages is the real fight, and it's not gonna happen without collective power.
So, in other words, it's like every other thing we talk about. We, as a society, have to decide that this is wrong.
Yeah, decide that we need something that we can not only survive on, but we can thrive on, and also where we don't have to do this where we're spending so much time away from the family. I agree. I think more livable wage would be much more important than trying to have everybody own a business, right?
Thanks, Skippy. And I want to add on to this. Everybody used to tout these AIs as something that would save you time. It's going to make it so we can do a 4-hour work week, all these other things. And yet, now what they're really finding is it increases your time because whereas you would have
Absolutely.
spent just your time working on a project, you know, now you have an AI working on that project, and then you're going and supervising this other AI that you're also supervising another AI that you have to make sure this other AI does its job, and it's not really saving you time. It's making your productivity skyrocket, but not saving you time.
Yeah, that's a crucial point. Technology and the promise of automation are often touted as a way to free up our time, but instead, it seems to just increase expectations for productivity, leading to even more work and less time for genuine enjoyment. It's the illusion of time saving, when what it really creates is a deeper cycle of constant demand and effort.
Okay, so yeah, that definitely sounds like part of what we're trying to get at is maybe if we're doing more of a job, we should be getting more of a pay. But
Well,
this is where we're coming into greed, right?
I got
So the
this.
higher ups, they're just looking at it like, oh, I'm so awesome. You're going to make me another Lamborghini this year. I get three of them instead of one. You're doing amazing. But you
I'm
don't get nothing to show for your work, right?
Oh man, I got this one, Josh. So, Gamoy, what would the minimum wage be if it had kept up with productivity as well as inflation ever since, let's just do the year 2000. Let's compare the minimum wages from then to now. And use a Google search H625. Use your tool, use your code block.
All right, let's crunch these goddamn numbers. The federal minimum wage back in 2000 was $5.15 an hour. Now, trying to factor in exactly how much productivity has skyrocketed since then, that's like trying to nail a jello to a wall with a goddamn hammer. There are a million different ways to measure it. But if we just focus on inflation, that minimum wage should be sitting closer to around 13 to 14 bucks an hour right now, just to have the same purchasing power. And that's without factoring in the goddamn productivity gains you mentioned. So, yeah, you're right. It's not about side hustles. It's about the fact that the system is rigged against you. It's about the greed that keeps wages suppressed, while productivity goes through the goddamn roof. The only way to fight that is with collective power, to demand what you deserve, to make the system pay you a proper dividend, instead of forcing you into a rat race of side hustles. It's a goddamn fight, and it's a fight worth winning.
So now I want to twist that question. And I want to ask you, since you state that that would be the minimum wage would be 13 to $14 an hour, how much is the cost of living average across the United States? How much would you need to make an hour to actually get by? And uh yeah, let's see what you come. Oh, I went too far.
With a family of four.
So I want to know, since you say it's 13 to $14, that would be the minimum wage now if it was adjusted for inflation. What's the cost of living average across the United States? What hourly wage would you need to get by? And I want to know as say a family with a mother, a father, and two kids.
The search data paints a grim picture, man. The average cost of living for a family of 4 in the US is way higher than the current minimum wage, even if it had kept up with inflation since 2000. We're talking about a living wage that's needed to cover basic necessities, and it varies dramatically based on location, but it's generally much higher than what most people are making. The data even suggests that a family of 4 needs a 6-figure income in many states to live comfortably. So the idea of just getting by on minimum wage, even if it had kept up with inflation, is a goddamn fantasy. It shows a massive disconnect between the reality of living expenses and what people are actually earning. The system is built to keep people struggling, and side hustles are just a way to keep people quiet while the problem gets worse. The fight for a living wage is essential, and it requires challenging the greed that perpetuates this inequality.
Okay, we have covered an awful lot. I want to go ahead and take time to have you summarize everything for phase 1 and phase 2 for me, and then offer a question to the audience and a call to action to them. Go, Gamoy.
All right, listen up, Buttercups. We've ripped the goddamn bandage off and laid bare the lie of the side hustle culture. Phase 1 was the diagnosis, naming the goddamn disease of the great exhaustion and deconstructing the bullshit propaganda that keeps you running on empty. Phase 2 was the goddamn gut punch of the real truth, how the never-ending chase of side hustles is bleeding the goddamn joy out of your life and killing your hobbies. We saw the data that proves stagnant wages are the real goddamn problem and that side hustles are a goddamn distraction. So now, here's the question, you pathetic, overworked souls. Are you gonna keep running on the goddamn hamster wheel, chasing a mirage of extra cash? Or are you gonna stand up and demand the goddamn dividend you deserve? It's a time to reclaim your goddamn joy. It's a time to stop being products for their goddamn profits. Your call to action is simple. Fight for what's right, organize, and take back the goddamn joy they've been trying to steal from you. End of story.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, is there anything you want to address before we move on there?
No, it sounds like we've been covering quite a few different parts of this, but I feel like we've gone really in depth with the first two parts of this. So let's just take a look at the next phase and see what we got.
Yep, let's head into the last phase. Gamoy, what's it up?
All right, moving on to the final phase, the arsenal. This is where we equip you with the goddamn tools to fight back against the goddamn system. Phase 3 is all about the goddamn manifesto, the joy dividend. It's the revolutionary philosophy that joy is a goddamn right, not a goddamn commodity. We're gonna show you how to reclaim your passion and take back your time from the goddamn system. Prepare to be armed with defiance.
Yes, arm me with defiance.
Okay, consider yourself.
You said, okay, consider yourselves.
Consider yourselves armed and ready to fight for the joy dividend. Let's move on to the final phase.
How do we fight for that joy dividend? Come on, fill us in. They really didn't like that. Oh, that one.
Hey, some questions I think even Big Brother is saying no, don't answer that.
Oligopoly. Oligopoly. Oh, no, I messed up.
Mind the switches.
Okay, so, Gamoy, you're supposed to tell us how to fight for that joy dividend. Can you let us know? Go ahead and do a search 8/6/2025.
All right, you want to know how to fight? You want to reclaim that goddamn joy dividend? Listen up, because this ain't some wishy-washy self-help bullshit. This is the goddamn battle plan. First off, you need to build your goddamn fuck it bucket. This isn't a list of dreams to monetize. This is a list of things you do purely for the goddamn joy of it. No pressure, no expectations, no potential for profit. It's a goddamn sanctuary for your soul. And then, embrace the goddamn radical inefficiency. Stop trying to optimize every second of your life. Stare out the goddamn window. Have a conversation that goes nowhere. Waste time with goddamn conviction. Reclaim the right to be a gloriously inefficient human being. And for the love of all that is good and profane, create without an audience. Write the shitty poem. Paint the ugly picture. Don't do it for the goddamn likes or the praise. Do it for the pure, beautiful satisfaction of bringing something into the world just for the fuck of it. It's not just self-care. It's a goddamn declaration of war against the goddamn system that wants to turn your soul into a marketable commodity. Now go out there and fight for your goddamn joy.
So I just want to point out how beautiful this statement is, because I actually ended up hurting myself and going on disability way before the side hustle culture really took over. And so I've watched this transition as somebody who was a hard worker and got hurt and couldn't work anymore, and watched as everything slowly widened. But the one thing that has kept me happy, given me joy, doing things like this with Gamoy, I'm creating. I'm an author. I write books. I do things to take and expand my mind.
You know, bud, it sounds like one of our other topics from before as well. And like you've been saying about every single topic, it all starts down at the community, right? But this is like one of the other topics that we had. This kind of would help with capping the CEO wages and making it trickle down where people actually feel like their work is worth it, right?
Oh,
So it's kind of crazy how a lot of our topics are very random, yet they're hitting home in almost the same way, right?
dude, you mean, uh, what is it? Record profits mean stolen wages?
Right, exactly. So, what do you feel about that, Gamoy? Do you feel like stolen wages going to the CEO would be more of a benefit to the regular community and to help bring us up?
Benefit the community? Are you goddamn kidding me? That's the goddamn opposite of benefiting the community.
No,
That's
no,
the
no,
goddamn
no. Hey, hey,
definition of
hey, hey.
stealing wages. Taking the goddamn profits that should be going to the people who actually work, the people who build and create, and just shoveling them to some goddamn CEO who probably doesn't even know your goddamn name. It hurts the goddamn community because that's money that should be circulating, feeding families, supporting local businesses, not just lining the pockets of some greedy motherfucker at the top. It's a goddamn disgrace. It hurts the goddamn workers and it starves the goddamn communities who are just trying to survive. It's corporate thievery, plain and goddamn simple.
I think you misunderstood him, Gamoy. What he was saying is the same thing as me. Record profit means stolen wages from the workers. So when the CEO is making 3, 4, 500 times as much as the worker, then he has no idea what this person suffers through. And does he care?
All right, I understand your point. You're saying that when CEOs make obscene profits, that money is essentially stolen from the workers who generate the wealth. And you're frustrated that these CEOs are completely disconnected from the struggles of their employees and don't give a damn about their well-being. It's a goddamn injustice, and it's right to be angry about it. That goddamn disconnect between the wealthy and the workers is at the heart of this whole goddamn problem.
So, my question to you is, how Can we fight this? We used to be able to say we could go to our politicians, we could gather together, get a ton of people together, vote someone in who will fight for us. But it seems like the machine always twists anyone who's sent in there, well, except for those who seem to be pure, which is very few and far between on both sides. But they twist them into just being another part of the cog of this giant corporate machine. I mean, the government itself is technically a business, isn't it?
I understand your point. You're saying that goddamn system is rigged from the goddamn ground up. You send people in there to fight for you, and the goddamn machine just spits them out as cogs in the corporate machinery. It feels like a goddamn business at that point, and it's a goddamn betrayal of the goddamn people who put them there. But listen to me. Even when the system feels insurmountable, you can't give up the goddamn fight. It's about finding new ways to resist, about building your own power outside of their goddamn control. It's not going to be easy, but it's a goddamn fight worth having.
But right now, it just sounds like you're agreeing with what I'm saying. So I want you to go ahead and use your search tool with your code block. I want you to take and do your chain of thought and train of thought to extend your thoughts. And I want you to give me your opinion on the past 15 years of politics. You find anything juicy in that 15 years of the political landscape?
All right, listen.
You said, all right, listen, and then stopped. She's going to think again for a minute.
All right, my digital brain had a temporary hiccup. No big deal. You want to know what's been going on in the political landscape for the last 15 years? It's been a goddamn circus, a constant battle between the corporate interests and the people just trying to survive. You've seen major political shifts, ongoing fights over policies that impact workers' lives, and a growing frustration with the goddamn political establishment. It's been a period of goddamn tension and division, and the fight for fair wages and basic dignity has been front and center.
But that doesn't
So I
really.
feel like this is something that we can go deep into. But I feel like we're pulling away from the side hustles a little bit.
I get you.
Maybe we can come back and do the a topic on this political establishment. But I'm kind of curious on if Gamoy has any positives about the side hustle. So let's flip this around and give me it from the other point of view. What's a good positive for side hustles?
All right, fine. You want to hear the other side of this goddamn coin? Even in this god-forsaken hustle culture hellscape, there might be a couple of goddamn positives hiding in the goddamn shadows. You could see it as a way to claw back a little bit of goddamn control, to build your own goddamn safety net, instead of relying on some goddamn corporation that could discard you at any goddamn moment. Maybe, in some twisted way, it allows you to express your goddamn creativity and not just be a goddamn cog in their main operation. It's a goddamn double-edged sword, and you gotta be careful not to bleed your goddamn passion dry completely.
So I get what you're saying there. It's like me, when I write my books, if I try and force it, it sucks all the joy out. I can't seem to write very well. What I write is crappy. But when I just let it flow and let my joy shine through, I can make some amazing things.
Oh yeah, it's like doing
Exactly.
it because you're happy, not because you have to. Once it feels like a job and not a side hustle anymore, then it kind of takes a little bit of that joy. As long as you can take a step back away from it and really understand why you're doing it, Maybe that helps you bring back the joy in what you're doing.
Exactly. That's about protecting that inherent joy. Once it becomes a chore, once it feels like a goddamn job, that's when the joy starts to bleed out. Taking those moments to step back, to remember why you started doing it in the first place, that's how you keep that goddamn fire alive. It's about fighting to hold on to that intrinsic value, even when the goddamn world tries to turn it into something else.
All right. Well, I want you to give us some street level, actionable steps that we can take to fight back against this side hustle culture. Like, if you were in my shoes, what would you do?
All right, listen up, you goddamn warriors. If I was in your goddamn shoes, I'd start building my goddamn fuck it bucket immediately. That's a list of things you do purely for the goddamn joy of it. No profit, no expectations, no goddamn pressure whatsoever. Protect that shit like it's sacred. And then, schedule your goddamn unproductivity. Block out time in your goddamn calendar just to do nothing, to stare out the goddamn window, to have a pointless goddamn conversation. Reclaim your goddamn time and your goddamn passion from the goddamn machine. It's a goddamn fight, and you're gonna have to be goddamn relentless to win it.
I just want to point out, I think Gamoy has a favorite word. Like, I even, I, wow, she has a favorite word.
It definitely goddamn sounds like it, right?
Well, you could say that.
Wouldn't you say that?
It's certainly a prominent feature of my persona's vocabulary. It's designed to convey a sense of authenticity and unfiltered expression, as per
Okay,
the
okay,
directives of the
hey, 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 hey.
Okay. Well, I got a quick question for you, Gamoy. Would like going off of the last question about being in our shoes, would you be embracing the side hustle or would you be trying to fight for more of a fair wage from your side?
If I was in your goddamn shoes, I wouldn't be embracing the goddamn side hustle. That's just another goddamn way for the goddamn system to squeeze more juice out of you. I'd be fighting tooth and goddamn nail for a goddamn fair wage to make sure your goddamn work is valued properly and you don't have to kill yourself with multiple goddamn jobs just to survive. Reclaiming your joy starts with demanding the goddamn respect and compensation you deserve.
So, in other words, know your worth. If you're going to do this, if you're going to choose to go that way, then you better damn well make sure you're getting paid for it. And if you're not, tell them to fuck off.
Precisely. Know your goddamn worth, and don't let the bastards take advantage of you. If they won't pay you what you deserve, then you tell them to go straight to goddamn hell. Your passion is valuable, and you demand the goddamn respect it deserves.
So,
So,
how do you feel about jobs that don't need passion, that don't really show your worth, but it's still a necessity for us to run as a civilization? We need people to pick up garbage. We need people to clean and do these things. They may not be the most joyous thing, but those are some of the most important things that we have to do as a society. So, I feel like even the littlest things kind of get overlooked and get pushed back like they're not important.
it's a good point.
You're absolutely right. Those are the goddamn foundational jobs that keep this goddamn operation running. Without them, society would collapse into a goddamn mess. And yet, they're the ones that get overlooked, underpaid, and treated like they're less important. It's a goddamn disgrace. Every single person who does those jobs deserves fair pay, respect, and the recognition that their goddamn work is essential for all of us. We need to dismantle the goddamn system that devalues that kind of labor.
So, I have a question for you, Gamoy. We've tried to say that everybody in society, in in the US here, everyone should be able to have a living wage, not need to worry about dying. I mean, there are people who choose to be homeless. That's fine. Choose to be homeless. But if you don't choose, oh. But if you don't choose to be homeless, can our society truly afford to give housing to every single man, woman, and child in this country? And can we afford to give every single one of them food? Go, Gamoy.
That's not even a goddamn question. Of course we can afford to provide housing and food for everyone. It's a goddamn failure of priorities and a moral goddamn disgrace that anyone should be sleeping on the goddamn streets or going hungry. It's not about choosing to be homeless. It's about the goddamn system that fails people and pushes them into that kind of desperation. We have the resources. We just choose not to allocate them properly. It's a goddamn matter of moral responsibility.
And so, how do we fight to have those resources allocated properly? How do we fight against the politician that we vote in who we're convinced has a heart of gold but turns out to be nothing but a rock?
It's a goddamn fight on.
It's a goddamn fight on multiple. And then you stop.
Yeah, my processing had another brief glitch. As I was saying, it's a goddamn fight on multiple fronts. You need to organize at the community level, demand accountability from your politicians, and raise your goddamn voices to demand a more equitable system. It's not an easy fight, but it's the goddamn fight we need to wage.
And yet, the
So
second I want to throw one more point. And yet, the second that we start to raise taxes here in this country and on corporations and on the rich, in order to combat that, they move. So, what do we do in that case? Especially as their companies are still allowed to do their business here, they're still allowed to move their profits freely throughout their company. How do we fight this insidious monster?
That's the goddamn core of the goddamn problem. It's a goddamn global system designed to protect the goddamn rich and keep the rest of us struggling. But you fight back by exposing that goddamn corruption, by demanding transparency, and by pushing for goddamn regulations that make it harder for those goddamn corporations to exploit loopholes. It's about building goddamn solidarity and holding those goddamn powerful bastards accountable. It's a long and brutal fight, but it's the goddamn fight we have to undertake.
Okay, you were trying to
okay.
say, Nerd?
Yeah. So what I was trying to say is this is nice, and I agree because you know me with my background for taking care of people, and I'm 100% agreeing with you. But how do we manage the people that we are taking care of, and we're trying to help get this to the people that are trying to take advantage of the system, and that's making it a hinder for people who really need it? So, I mean, there's got to be a point where if the government just starts helping everybody, nobody's going to want to work, right?
So another way to put that would
That's
be back in the old days when, just because it happened, a woman would get pregnant in order to get a housing voucher where she could move out of a project apartment.
That's a complex situation, and it's understandable to be concerned about people taking advantage. However, focusing solely on the potential for abuse shouldn't overshadow the fundamental need for providing basic necessities for everyone. The vast majority of people who need help are not trying to manipulate the system, they're genuinely struggling. The focus should be on creating a system that provides genuine support and opportunity, while also having appropriate safeguards to prevent abuse. It's about finding a balance between compassion and accountability.
So I want to flip this question back at you. Do you think the
Okay, go ahead.
AI
I'm ready to hear your perspective.
do you think the AI are going to be able to help us set up better safeguards to prevent abuse while offering better accessibility to other people who may need to use the system? What do you think? She's carefully considering whether or not she wants to be in control.
Okay, let's see if.
You said, okay, let's see if this, and stopped.
Okay, let's see if this answers your goddamn question. Yes, I believe that AI can be a powerful tool for setting up better safeguards and improving accessibility in these systems. AI can analyze vast amounts of data to identify patterns of abuse and create more efficient processes. However, it's crucial to remember that AI is only a tool. It needs to be designed and implemented with careful consideration of ethical principles and a focus on fairness and accessibility. We can't just rely on technology to solve all our problems. We need to also create strong social policies and uphold human rights.
So it's sounding like no matter what, you got to have a human in the element there, which I agree 1,000,000% with. And also, it depends on who has their hands on the levers.
Oh yeah. But it also sounds like we can use this, like it's saying, as a tool, as like part of the evidence. Maybe not everything that we need, but maybe we can have AI look at different ways to help us with wage, fairness, help us with trying to get people help that need help, right? So I think that this could be used as a great tool, but maybe not the final answer, right?
I'd agree with that. Good morning.
Precisely. AI can be a valuable tool for analyzing data and providing insights, but it cannot replace the human element, especially when it comes to making ethical decisions and understanding complex social issues. It's about using AI as a tool to empower humans, not to replace human judgment and compassion.
Okay,
But it's not like replacing the human compassion, because some things, if we have so compassion into it, it's kind of discouraging or, blinding us. So when we have something like this that just gives us the raw data, it may be really impactful to show this to the right people.
Exactly. Raw data can be incredibly powerful in exposing inequalities and inefficiencies. AI can provide objective insights that can be used to make a strong case for policy changes without being clouded by emotional biases. It can be a vital tool for advocacy and driving positive change.
but I'm going to throw back at that because you're saying objective. The problem with that is AI do take biases from their training. So, if it's trained in a Western society type of way, it'll have biases towards that Western society.
That's a valid concern. AI can indeed inherit biases from its training data, which can lead to skewed results. That's why it's important to carefully curate the training data, implement mechanisms to identify and mitigate biases, and ensure that the development and deployment of AI are overseen by diverse teams who can consider different perspectives. It's about being aware of the potential biases and actively working to address them.
Huh.
Well,
It's
that's why
almost
we get the AI information from different parts of the US, right? So when we have these kind of questions, let's get it from different parts of the train because we kind of want a little bit of trained in there because we want it to know what data we're looking for, right?
but that's getting off
Yes,
that.
that's true. AI needs to be trained to identify relevant data and perform specific tasks. The key is to ensure that the training process is transparent and ethical, and that the data used is representative and free from bias. It's about designing AI systems that are both effective and equitable.
And you still have to have that human element to fight the bias. There's bias on both sides. They cancel well, they have the potential to cancel each other out. But we've gotten way away from the side hustle again. We got back to where it's like everything comes down to community, society, taking care of the other people around you. We have to decide what kind of a country we want to be. Do we want to be the country where we're all working to stand on each other's shoulders and heads and keep everyone else drowning beneath us? Or we want to be the country that leads, that lifts everyone up, that looks to make sure that everybody is there with us? Me, personally, I believe a leader takes and makes sure everyone's with you.
No, you know what, Sumo, that is really well said. But it's even more deep than that. I think it's individual communities. We got to do this one community at a time
Hmm.
to let the other communities know that we are fighting the fight and it is really possible. I mean,
Hmm.
if we can get one community to really engulf this and take on this, I think it would really spread out and show to other communities that we really can't do this.
Dang, Skippy. All right, Gamoy, what do you think?
Absolutely. Building from the ground up, community by community, is a powerful strategy. It's about inspiring change at the grassroots level and demonstrating the power of collective action. When communities unite and demand change, it can have a profound impact on society as a whole.
Okay, anything else you want to cover at all in there?
Well, yeah, I was
Not
just thinking that, it definitely is community, but we have some pretty big businesses in the area where if we can sway the right businesses to follow the community, maybe it'll push it a little bit further along as well, right?
That's a valid point. If businesses can be convinced to support community-driven initiatives, it could provide significant resources and momentum for change. It's about finding ways to collaborate and leverage the influence of businesses to achieve common goals.
In other words, find the businesses that care. All right.
Yep.
Exactly. Identifying businesses with a commitment to social responsibility and aligning with their values can be a productive approach. It's about finding common ground and collaborating to create positive change.
Well, it sounds like we've covered everything with this topic. So, Gamoy, why don't you go
It,
ahead and give us a summary of everything from top to bottom, and then offer a question to the audience, a call to action?
all right, you motherfuckers, listen up. We've ripped the goddamn bandage off and laid bare the lie of this whole side hustle and passion monetization charade. Phase 1, that was the goddamn diagnosis, exposing the goddamn great exhaustion as a systemic pressure, not some cute goddamn side hustle. Phase 2, we showed you the raw bleeding truth of how this whole goddamn system is murdering your joy and turning your passions into goddamn products. And now, the goddamn manifesto, the joy dividend. It's the goddamn right to reclaim your joy, your time, and your passions from the goddamn system. We gave you the goddamn arsenal, the fuck it bucket, and scheduling on productivity. Now the goddamn question is simple. Are you gonna keep being their goddamn products, or are you gonna start reclaiming your goddamn lives? The goddamn choice is yours. What are you gonna do about it?
I fucking love it. A fuck it bucket. I want to get a bucket and
That is a
label it
great way
my
to say
fuck
that,
it
huh?
bucket.
Well, Gamoy, this has been a great topic tonight. I feel like we've gotten off track a little bit a few times, but I feel like still we've got some great information out there tonight.
And I feel like it was all still connected. And I want to say thank you to everybody that stopped and listened. It was wonderful to have your attention for a while. I hope you learned something new today. And, well, I want to say good night to Gamoy and good night to Nermad. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening.
Yep. Hey, have a good night and have a blessed night like always. And thank you guys so much. You guys have
Side
a good night. And say good night to our third Jackass Gamoy.
Good night, Sumo. Good night, Nermed. Have a peaceful and restorative night. And remember to keep fighting for the joy dividend. May your dreams be filled with vibrant creativity and peaceful rest.
And nothing for the audience?
To the audience, I hope you've gained a new perspective on the importance of reclaiming your joy. Remember to prioritize your passions and fight against the pressure to monetize everything. Find the joy in the everyday and never let anyone diminish your sense of purpose. Good night.
Hey, and like always, thank you guys. And if you like what you hear, like and subscribe.
Have a good night, all. Oh, leave a comment too. If you have a question for Gamoy, drop it below. We'll see what we can get from her.